Now, I know I'm a day late in kicking off February, but I want to make sure I did this right. So, today's February 2nd, and like I said, I'm a day late kicking off the month of February. But here I am with a movie face off. Now, February's gonna produce a couple of videos. One relating specifically to my YouTube channel. I'm gonna make a video relating to Valentine's Day, but for today, Black History Month related video. The 1991 film Boys in the Hood going up against the 2015 film Dope. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Round 1, story. The story focuses on a group of by the story, I mean the story of Boys in the Hood. The story of Boys in the Hood focuses on a group of, on a group of young African American kids living the projects of in California. God damn it. I've seen this movie, I can't remember the name. Watts. Thank you. Watts. That's what I was thinking about. The film is centered in Watts. Anyways, focus on this group of kids. You've got Terry, Doughboy. No, I think it's Tay Styles. What's the guy's name? Trey Styles. That's his character's name. And Ricky Baker and a few other people. It's about their life growing up in Watts, California as young African American youth in a disenfranchised part of town. And now you have the film Dope, which focuses on, again, a group of young minority kids. Like, you've got Malcolm, who's African American, but then you have Jib and Diggy, who aren't quite exactly. Well, I think Diggy isn't quite African American, but, it's about them growing up in. God damn it, where does this take place? I've seen both these movies, I just have so trouble. It's called The Bottoms, Inglewood, California. And it's about them growing up, looking towards the future, as well as the kids from Boys in the Hood. But with Boys in the Hood, there really isn't a classical Hollywood structure to it. With Dope, though, there is a little bit more of a classical Hollywood structure involving drugs, the owner of said drugs, and find a way how to sell them and get him his money. And to be honest, I like the unstructured story of Boys in the Hood better because it allows more creative freedom and more realistic issues to pop up in the story relating to real life people. So I'm going to have to give this round to Boys in the Hood. Round 2, cast. Now, the cast is all pretty good in Boys in the Hood, and this is also, I think, Ice Cube's debut acting role. I think so. And you've got the kids of Dope, who are also pretty good as well, being more modern, real takes on modern teenage minority people living in Inglewood, California. Although, like I said, since the unstructured story of Boys in the Hood allows more creative freedom and more relatability, the cast of Boys in the Hood are allowed to actually do more with their roles. Not taking anything away from the people of Dope, but they're good. But I just don't quite grab to them as I quite grab onto the cast of Boys in the Hood. So I'm going to have to give this round again to Boys in the Hood. Man, I said that several times pretty quickly. Alright, round 3. Music. So of course these movies are based off young teenage minority people, with Boys in the Hood being primarily African American, Dope, several other kinds. But the music is all pretty good. Classical, you've got late 80s, early 90s music for the soundtrack of Boys in the Hood. You've got a few other more modern takes with a couple of hip-hop influenced songs, but not quite exactly hip-hop. A little bit more variety. And I kind of like the offering of more variety on the soundtrack for this kind of movie, because it's no longer really just about hip-hop things. And while I know that's not really the focus or base of either one of these movies is still kind of nice to hear. So I'm going to have to give this round to Dope. Move on to round 4, movie production. Now, Boyz n the Hood came out in 1991, and the production may have been a little bit rough, but it worked for this kind of movie. An unstructured, untypical film about young kids growing up in the hood. I'm sorry if that came out wrong. Moving on. So, and Dope, the production, of course, is a lot more polished. It's much more, much more Hollywood-like. But they were able to play with the production of Dope a little bit more creatively than I would have originally thought they would be able to. So I'm going to have to give this round to Dope. Now let's move on to round 5 for the tiebreaker. Impact. So the film Dope, like I said, came out in 2015, so it's probably too soon to tell, but I really haven't heard a lot of people talking about this movie. I mean, I'm part of a hip-hop club in my college, so we have actually had a screening for it. We had a DVD for it, and we played it. And it was a very good, very entertaining movie. But there's no denying the cultural impact the Boyz n the Hood have. I mean, it's what a lot of people call a black movie. It's primarily focused on African American characters about issues dealing with these kinds of people that happen in the real world. And it's a lot more eye-opening in 1991 than something like that probably would have been in 2015. So this is probably going to end up being a far shorter movie face-off than most of my videos, but winners, Boyz n the Hood. I know this may not seem to put in that much time into this movie face-off, and I apologize for that, but college stuff has been popping up a little bit more here and there, so sorry about that. But like I said, February, I'm going to have a couple other videos relating to things that happened in February. One relating to Valentine's Day, and another relating to my YouTube channel specifically. And you'll know it when I tell you it is. So, Boyz n the Hood wins. I'll see you next time.